Hello everyone, welcome to our English podcast where we delve into a lot of practice to help you become confident speaking in English and to use advanced vocabulary. Today we have a list of advanced vocabulary words B2 and C1 level. Let me introduce the words, but before I start, don't get confused that you don't get any of them. I'm sure that after this episode you will master them and use them in your daily conversation. Let's get going with the first word. I say them 2 times to make them clear. Try to repeat. First word, abandon, abandon. Second word, abbreviate, abbreviate. Third one, acknowledge, acknowledge. 4, adequate, adequate. 5, ambiguous, ambiguous. 6, anticipate, anticipate. 7, authorize, authorize. 8, autonomous, autonomous. 9, apprehensive, apprehensive. And the last word is abundance. Get all your bases covered and be ready. First, we'll provide clear definitions and real-life examples followed by synonyms, antonyms to deepen your understanding. Additionally, we'll present real-life situations to demonstrate the practical use of these words. By the end of this episode, you will be equipped with a mastery of these advanced words. They are perfect for those at the B2 or C1 level. Join us on this journey to elevate your language skills. Now, let's start with the first word, which is abandon. Again, abandon, which means to leave something behind or give up on something. For example, the explorers had to abandon their mission due to the harsh weather. Again, the explorers had to abandon their mission due to the harsh weather. In a real-life situation, you might use this word in many different situations. When discussing someone leaving a project, plan, or even a place. Moving on to abbreviate. Again, abbreviate, which means to shorten something, usually a word or a phrase. For instance, the company name was abbreviated to just 3 letters for easier recognition. Again, the company name was abbreviated to just 3 letters for easier recognition. In a real-life situation, you might use this word when talking about shortening a long word or phrase for convenience. Examples: AC stands for air conditioning. CEO stands for Chief Executive Officer. AD stands for advertisement, and so on. Let's move to the next word, which is abundance. Again, abundance. It refers to having a large amount of something. For example, the garden was filled with an abundance of colorful flowers. Again, the garden was filled with an abundance of colorful flowers. In a real-life situation, you could use this word when describing a plentiful supply of something, such as food, resources, or opportunities. The word that we have after that is acknowledge. Again, acknowledge, which means to recognize the existence or truth of something. For example, she nodded to acknowledge that she understood the instructions. Again, she nodded to acknowledge that she understood the instructions. In a real-life situation, you might use this word when talking about someone admitting or recognizing something. The word we have next is adequate. Again, adequate. It refers to being sufficient or satisfactory. For instance, the company provided adequate training for its employees. Again, the company provided adequate training for its employees. In a real-life situation, you could use this word when describing something that is enough or suitable for a particular purpose. Then moving to ambiguous, which means having more than one possible meaning or interpretation. For example, The author's ambiguous statement left the readers puzzled, moved. Again, the author's ambiguous statement left the readers puzzled. In a real-life situation, you might use this word when discussing something that is unclear, vague, or open to interpretation. Now, let's delve into more words. And the word we have next is anticipate, which means to expect or predict something to happen. For example, she could anticipate the arrival of the guests based on the time. Again, she could anticipate the arrival of the guests based on the time. In a real-life situation, you might use this word when discussing someone expecting or foreseeing an event or outcome. Then we have authorize. Authorize, which refers to giving official permission for something. For instance, the manager has the authority to authorize the use of company funds for the project. Again, the manager has the authority to authorize the use of company funds for the project. In this example, authorize is used to indicate that the manager has the official permission or power to approve the use of company funds for a specific purpose. In a real-life situation, you could use this word when talking about granting approval or consent for an action or a decision. Let's move to the next word we have today, which is autonomous. Autonomous. Autonomous means having the freedom to act independently. For example, the team operates as an autonomous unit within the organization. Again, the team operates as an autonomous unit within the organization. In a real-life situation, you might use this word when describing something that functions or operates independently. The last word we have in this episode is apprehensive, which refers to feeling anxious or fearful about something that may happen. For instance, she felt apprehensive about the upcoming exam. Again, she felt apprehensive about the upcoming exam. In a real-life situation, you could use this word when discussing someone feeling uneasy or worried about a future. Wait, we haven't finished yet. We still have the second part. We want to master these vocabulary words. We have provided the word with the definition and an example and how to use it in a real-life situation. Now let's provide synonyms and antonyms to the words. The first word is abandon, which means desert, forsake. To desert a place is to leave it and go away. So abandon means desert or forsake. Antonyms for this word is maintain, retain. Moving to abbreviate. The synonym of this word is shorten. Abbreviate a word or a phrase means to shorten this phrase. And the antonym is elongate. Elongate. Lengthen. Lengthen. Make it bigger. Third word is acknowledge. Synonym, admit. Recognize. When you acknowledge something, you admit it, recognize it. The antonym of this word is to deny it, ignore it, disregard it. Moving to the fourth one, which is adequate, which means sufficient. If something is adequate, it is sufficient or satisfactory. And it is not insufficient, it is not inadequate or not unsatisfactory. So antonyms, insufficient, inadequate, or unsatisfactory. Number 5, ambiguous, which means unclear or vague. The antonym is clear, obvious, crystal clear, explicit. Number 6, anticipate. Anticipate means to expect, foresee, or predict. The oppositive, doubt. This is the antonym. To doubt something means you don't expect the result. Number 7 is authorize, which means to permit someone or empower someone to do something, to give them the permission. The opposite or the antonym is prohibit someone, disallow him. Number 8 is apprehensive, which means anxious. Apprehensive means anxious and the opposite is confident. Don't be apprehensive, don't be anxious. Be confident, this is the opposite. Number 9 is autonomous, Autonomous means independent. Autonomously is independently. The antonym is dependent or controlled. If something is dependent, it is controlled. It is not autonomous. It is not independent. Number 10, and the last word is abundance, which means plenty of something. And the opposite or the antonym is lack of something, shortage of something. Now it's time for the most important part of our episode, which is using all the vocabulary words in context. So we have crafted a short story using all these vocabulary words. Let's not beating around the bush and get into the story. As the storm raged on, the captain with a heavy heart made a difficult decision to abandon the ship, acknowledging the ambiguous nature of their situation. The crew, faced with an abundance of challenges, worked tirelessly to abbreviate their distress signal, anticipating the arrival of rescue teams. The captain, with a sense of responsibility, authorized the crew to act autonomously, ensuring they had adequate resources and support to handle the situation with courage and determination. Despite feeling apprehensive about the uncertain outcome, they remained confident in their ability to navigate the challenges ahead, drawing strength from their unwavering teamwork and resilience. That's it. I hope if you want to listen again, get back to this part and listen one more time to get everything. And now, it's the end. I hope you don't abandon your passion for learning and exploring new things. Sometimes when we are short on time, it's helpful to abbreviate our tasks to make them more manageable. For instance, you might abbreviate your notes to save time during a busy day. It's important to acknowledge the effort you put into your work and studies. When faced with ambiguous situations, it's natural to feel apprehensive. But remember to anticipate positive outcomes. You have the authority to make autonomous decisions in your life, ensuring that you have the adequate resources and support to pursue your goals. Always remember that you are authorized to take control of your journey and navigate it with confidence and determination. Last thing I want to say to you, if you find this podcast beneficial and you'd like to support us to continue making more ones, don't forget to give us your thumbs up and subscribe for more videos in the future and podcasts. See you soon, Raccoon.